Yeah, sure. So first of all, it's my pleasure to be interviewed. I'm happy to be here. I am a researcher at the Austrian Academy of Sciences and also an external collaborator on the ERC-funded synergy project Mantrams. My research focuses on mantras, specifically on mantra repetition, and that's what I will be focusing on in the next 4 years. And this is also what my talk at the presentation yesterday was about. So I like Nepal a lot. First reason, I like South Asia in general, of course. And second reason is it has mountains, like Austria does. So I always feel that there is some sort of relationship between Austria and Nepal. And I really like that a lot. Also, Nepali cuisine is great. So there are many things I like about Nepal. The World Sanskrit Conference is a very huge event, and there is always a bit of chaos attached with it, I assume. Um, and for me, it worked out fine, and my panel was nice. So it is an interesting experience to have. Yeah, I'm happy to share that story. It's not particularly spectacular, I would say. So when I was a teenager, especially when I was a teenager, I was very much interested in religion and language. Like these were two big topics that I was interested in. And in particular, I was interested in learning Latin, and my Latin teacher was also a very good one. And I was also interested to learn as much as I could about religions in general. And so while I was a teenager, I found out that Latin is part of a language family, of a larger language family, as is German, and that Sanskrit also belongs to that family and is one of its oldest members, actually. And so I became interested in that, and then I also found out that it's connected to Buddhism and Hinduism, which I was, of course, also interested in. So these two interests at some point converged, and after school I decided to study Sanskrit.
When you said Sanskrit also belongs to that family, can you share a little about that?
Yeah, so that was also discovery for me when I was young. Sanskrit is part of the Indo-European language family, as a sort of successor to Vedic, basically. And to this Indo-European language family belong a couple of languages, including German, Greek, Latin, Sanskrit, of course, also Hindi and Nepali today, English, Russian, and many others. So I'm also quite interested in that. So that's in the European studies, but that's not what my studies focused on in the last 10 years. The one thing that I did do that is worth mentioning on mantras is write a book on one of the most famous ones, that is the Gayatri mantra. So, and this was published 2023 in winter, so 1.5 years ago. And in this book, I outlined the history of this mantra, the early history, and also how it came to be revered as a deity over the course of time, as a goddess. And the book is available online and free to download, so everybody can have a look. So that is my contribution to mantra studies. Oh, well, yes, in the sense that it's difficult to take a mantra as just one thing, because there are so many layers in it. There are so many ways to interpret it depending on the context. You have to choose a context in order to be able to understand it. If you don't have such a context, or if you know of multiple contexts, then it can mean so many things. And then again, the usage of it also can diverge significantly from this meaning, or like there can be a mismatch sort of between the meaning and how it is used. So whenever I see a mantra, all of these things kind of unfold before my eyes. And this is confusing at times, but in general, I would say it is an enriching experience to learn more about one such thing. And well, my personal life, as I'm doing research on mantras every single day, my life is very much, like coined or impacted by mantras as such. So my work also influences how I feel every day. So this is how it does have an effect on how I feel and how I live. that is one takeaway of my research on mantras, the research on mantras that I started when, like 2018, is that when you look at how people understand mantras, or for example, if you collect translations of a single mantra, then only then do you actually start to see how much flexibility there is in interpreting language or language-like things such as mantras or formulas. So this shows that many things are quite ambiguous, and this was really a big surprise to me, just how little stability there is and how much depends on the context and on the person using it, understanding it. So any hope to find the one true meaning of a mantra, I think in many cases this will lead nowhere, because there are just so many permissible and right interpretations. And I think actually that this also applies to other areas of life, because this showed me that you cannot just rely on, you know, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words that are there. You have to take the whole picture into account and all levels of communication in that sense. I do think it is important in the sense that there is one thing that we're all interested in, and that is Sanskrit. And what the World Sanskrit Conferences show is that there are quite distinct approaches to the language and the culture. And sometimes those who follow these approaches do not understand each other. They don't follow each other. They are just so different that they cannot understand each other. But you know, once in a while, it happens that understanding takes place, and that you get to see some new aspect of the language or of the study of it that you didn't knew about before. So, and for this to happen, we have to have events like this, so people can get in touch. Otherwise, it will be just people will be in their own holes, and that will be it, and they won't talk to each other at all. So this is, at least this is what I think should be an important part of such a conference. An important goal of such a conference is to enable such exchange. Well, in terms of the presentations until so far, there have been quite a few new insights, but none that surprised me in that regard. So it was all just, I don't know how to say, like part of a regular learning process. But just before I came to this interview, I was talking to a gentleman who intends to digitize as many primary sources as he can. And I am a co-founder of an initiative whose goal it is to promote fair open access in South Asian studies. That is primarily secondary literature, that is scholarly articles and so on. But we both have a similar goal, that is to make knowledge accessible for free to a wider public, because as he put it so well, all of this is seva. So everybody's doing free work actually. Like we're serving the language and all the products in its language and the community who is interested in it. There is no point in making this a money machine. So this was a common goal that we had, and so this was a very nice encounter. Because knowing what the world is like and in general is the basis for making any reasonable decision. And I think this even applies with regard to historical subjects, because history matters. So the pictures we have of ourselves are based on narratives and on history. So if we want to be truthful, then we want to have an accurate picture of the past as possible. And this, of course, also includes knowledge about all the works that were composed in Sanskrit hundreds and thousands of years ago. So we have to know what's in there if we want to define our identities on the basis of it, which is what many people do. Yeah. Well, the one thing, if I may take the opportunity, as I just mentioned, I'm co-founder of this initiative, and I would like to emphasize why this is important. We are studying a language that is currently mostly studied in countries that are not as wealthy as, for example, Europe or North America is. So making studies on these subjects unaffordable is just unethical. So it is also in our responsibility as scholars to publish at venues that make their work open access, so that also people from all around the globe can have access and also publish there. Because this is the only way to have a more inclusive scholarly environment. And I would like to urge this, it's not only in the hands of the publishers, we can also choose other publishers and journals and make our knowledge accessible. We don't have to give it to publishers who will ask hundreds of dollars for accessing it. There is no necessity for that. Scholarly quality is independent of that. That is one thing that I would like to say.